Hearing this, Leon was stunned at first, then couldn't help laughing out loud. He obviously found it far too unbelievable. Huh? My master? That strict old man who's scared of his wife is a wanted criminal? He laughed so hard, he nearly doubled over, shaking his head as he said, "Ha ha ha. How is that even possible? He's just an ordinary old farmer past 50. Every day he just tends the fields, feeds the chickens, and whenever he has nothing else to do, he chews on a wheat stalk while scolding me for being lazy. And he's been retired for so many years already. How could he possibly have done something that got him wanted? The Empire must have made a mistake." Roswitha looked at him, without the slightest hint of a smile on her face. In an incomparably serious tone she said, "When I first met your master, the overwhelming pressure radiating from him was absolutely not something an ordinary person could possess. That feeling, I have only ever felt it from the strongest silver dragon queens in history. Besides, for someone capable of raising a monster as absurdly strong as you, your master is definitely not as simple as you think he is. I believe the reason he is being hunted is probably connected to you." Roswitha paused, then added, "And your master once said that from the very moment you were captured, the Empire had already branded you a traitor to humanity." The smile on Leon's face vanished instantly. Leaning against the railing, he stared into the pitch black night sky in the distance. His fingertips turned slightly pale, and his voice was calm in a way that felt almost terrifying. "A traitor, huh? I more or less expected that. Someone had to take the fall for the defeat in that war 3 years ago. And me, the missing captain of the assault squad, was naturally the perfect choice. Maybe. That was the real goal of the mole back then." Roswitha looked at his lonely back, and her heart ached. Her eyes were filled with reluctance and inner conflict. She stayed silent for quite a while, before finally speaking slowly, her voice carrying a faint tremor that was hard to notice. "I never wanted to tell you about this, because you are the children's father, and you are also my husband. Even if this family was built on a lie in the beginning, you've still become an irreplaceable part of it. I don't want you to leave. I don't want this family to fall apart again. But I also understand that you have another home in the human world. Your master and your mistress. They are also the most important people in your life. You have the right to know all of this, and you also have the right to make your own choice. Right now, your master needs you more than we do. So what are you going to do?" Leon took a deep breath, then turned to look at Roswitha. A trace of determination flashed through his eyes. "Yes, the Crimson Flame Dragon King Constantine has already been defeated by me. For now, the other dragon clans won't dare provoke the silver dragons. With you here I can rest easy. My master raised me and saved my life. If he hadn't taken me in back then, I would starve to death on the streets long ago. Now that he's been dragged into something this dangerous, I really can just stand by and do nothing." He looked straight into Roswitha's eyes and said with complete sincerity, "Don't you?" Roswitha looked at him. Though her eyes were full of endless reluctance, she still nodded gently, holding back her tears as she said, "Since you've made up your mind, you can leave tonight. I'll take you to the Empire's border. It'll be faster that way." Seeing how she was forcing herself to stay calm, Leon felt a surge of emotion in his heart. He reached out and held her tightly. He could smell the faint fragrance of gardenias in her hair. Resting his chin gently against the top of her head, he spoke with heartfelt gratitude in his voice. "Thank you, Roswitha." He paused, then asked softly, "And you haven't had much appetite either?" Was it all because of this? Roswitha turned her face away, and said in her usual Sundar tone, "Before you leave, go give our youngest daughter one more hug. The next time you see her, who knows when that'll be." Leon nodded, let go of Roswitha, and quietly walked to the crib. Looking at his daughter's sleeping little face, his heart was filled with guilt. He reached out and gently stroked his youngest daughter's soft hair, then softly reminded her, "Be good, Muin. When you grow up, listen to your sisters, and take good care of mommy, okay?" At the very end, he gently held his youngest daughter once more, and placed a tender kiss on her forehead. Then he turned around, and left the room without hesitation. On the open ground outside the castle, Roswitha had already transformed into a massive silver dragon. Her silver scales shimmered red under the moonlight, and her enormous wings rested quietly at her sides, as she silently waited for him. Leon put on a black cloak, pulled down the brim to hide his face, then leapt onto the dragon's back, and gripped the cold dragon scales tightly. In a low voice he said, "Let's go." The silver dragon let out a deep dragon's cry, spread her wings, and soared into the pitch black night sky with him. Sitting on the dragon's back, Leon lowered his head, and looked at the castle below, growing farther and smaller by the second. A few warm lights were still glowing in the castle windows. That was the direction of the children's shroom. His heart was full of reluctance, and he asked softly, "I still didn't get to properly say goodbye to Noah and Muin. When they wake up and can't find me, will they think I'm a terrible father?" Roswitha's gentle yet steady voice sounded in his mind. "No. You are the best father in the world." After a pause, she quietly added in her heart, "And also the best husband in the world." Back in the castle room, Noah was still awake. She stood by the window, watching that silver streak gradually disappear into the night sky, and murmured softly, "It's so late. Where are Mom and Dad going?" A few hours later, Leon and Roswitha had already crossed the Silver Dragon mountain range, and arrived at the border of the human empire. Roswitha landed in the same forest as last time. From here, one glance into the distance could take in the entire empire. Leon stood on that familiar old tree from before, looking at the land he knew so well ahead of him, and the faint lights of the distant cities. Those dazzling lights reflected in his dark eyes, and for a moment, countless emotions surged through his heart. His homeland was still his homeland, but was the empire still that same empire? Looking at the native soil before him, Leon softly murmured, "After a whole year I've finally returned. Master, wait for me. I will find you, and uncover the whole truth."